Life is good, 13. 13 love to y'all. You are creation 13. Today I want to talk to you about, just being honest with yourself, being honest with others, and, loving and living your life responsibly. You know, people get so caught up in dramas and stories and histories and religion. People get so caught up in those concepts, and they get swallowed up in those programs, whether you want to call them matrix programs or whatever. People get swallowed up in that, and they can't look outside that box. People live in a box, and whether they admit to it or not. And this is something that really entraps the majority of humanity. Not just North America, but humanity as a whole. And North America itself, North America really is based in programs that are just insane. It creates so much divide throughout the majority of humanity, because a lot of wars are created by North America, and that's something that you really have to do research on. And this is proving the point is people take what they hear seriously. They never do research. They never look at the politics that involve these wars or these programs or these businesses, how they start. People refuse to do research, and same way with religion. People refuse to look outside what they were taught. They just accept things. They just create belief structures and faith structures. They just put belief and faith in things and just let somebody else take care of it. You yourself can be a revolution of change. And people teach you that you can't be that way. And it can be frustrating, because like people like myself are here to help you guys, become aware that you can be a leader, and be an inspiration to others, but you have everybody else turning you down, making you think you have to follow someone else. Religion really makes you feel you're a small pawn, and that something else has to carry you on. You have the strength to carry yourself on. You have that potential to be that Christ-like character that the Bible talks about. You have that ability to be that. And, no pastor or whatever title they give them, religious title, cannot tell you this. That is not, they don't have a right to tell you that. They should be telling you, yes, you are beautiful, you're awesome, you can be a Christ-like character, and you don't need no savior to make you think otherwise. You are that change, that savior change that this world needs. This world lacks leadership. We have allowed, for centuries, thousands and thousands of years, we have allowed a mafia type family to run this world. We have allowed it, and a lot of destruction and war was caused from these families, these political families. Like I said, you got to do your research. People refuse to do research on everything. Um, you have to look at um, the Roman Greek history, and look where religion came from. People refuse to look where religion came from, and they refuse to look at how the translations of the Hebrew Greek Bible got translated. People refuse to look at that, because a lot of the North American Bibles are created stories for somebody's political shifts. And like I said, you got to do research. It's out there, and they spread so much fear. They spread so much fear for you looking outside the box. Um, the perceived God, or like I call the source, loves all of his children, and he's not going to spread. It is not going to spread fear to his children. Okay, there is no fear that is spread. And people will make up this story of, well, the fear is something different. Fear is fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Okay, it's false evidence. There is no evidence of what people claim. Just like the stuff I talk about, there is no evidence. Therefore, that's why I tell you have to do your research for yourself. You have to look within for yourself to find the answers. Because if you just trust somebody based on what they tell you, without doing research and discovering things for yourself, you're living a lie. You're just following somebody's words. Anybody can write a story. Okay, anybody can write a story. Movies, TV shows are proven facts on how manipulative this world can be. Because everybody has an agenda of some kind, whether it's perceived positive or negative. There's still always an agenda. You have a personal agenda, a personal story that you are creating for yourself. And you can choose to live a destructive story, or you can choose to live a creational story. And what I mean by creation, meaning that you are here to create and grow and evolve into something beautiful. There is no destruction involved when you are creating something that you're constantly wanting things to live and grow. And proof of this and how manipulative this world has gotten is there is always fear, especially in the New Age spiritual community. Even in the Bible, talking about visions and perceived futures. Okay, fear, false evidence appearing real. Again, visions and future events that has to do with destruction is fearful. False evidence appearing real. Okay, and this is where people are falling victim into this, especially in the New Age community. They're literally, if you really fall for those kind of visions, you are telling yourself that you want destruction. You want some kind of destruction within your reality, within your life. And you're choosing to accept that. And even myself, I had to move on. I had to expand the reasons why I was having the visions I was having. I am learning just like you guys learn. But instead of me accepting what I learn, I expand upon it. I don't just accept something, I expand upon it, and I look and continue to do research. Because I'm one of them people that don't accept things, and I know that things can be better. And that's what the message I'm bringing out to you guys is, that things will get better if you will it and be that leader that this world needs. we're spread all out throughout this world. No matter where you're at, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in in some uh, area, maybe Florida, that's just filled with gangs. No matter where you're at, you can be a positive change that can cause a trigger effect where you live at. And if the world is, if it's really bad, like say just gangs nonstop, you probably want to get out of there because that's pretty much means that there's nothing you can do. And that proves another point. You can't save everybody, okay? If you're not needed in an area, like I said, if there's gangs all over the place and shooting and stuff like that, there's no helping them. You would have to bring your own army in, and that would just create war and chaos. It would prove nothing. And that's where you have to make the decision of I need to move somewhere where I can be an influence for others. Because you may not be able to reach those gangs physically, but if you move somewhere else and maybe you create, get yourself out there and you become a celebrity or more known, those gang members may start listening to you, and then they'll start flocking into different ways to live. It takes your voice to be heard, but sometimes you have to move somewhere to make your stand. And that's something that a lot of people are discovering for themselves. And and it's showing that you're taking responsibility for your life and that you're wanting change to happen on this world. Um, this whole political view or family, um, the powers that be, whatever, um, the families that have taken over this world um, are crumbling, basically. All right, and I'm probably trying to throw you off, but basically, religion and the war that happened within those um, structures is why we're in the way we live now. Because the Romans, the Vaticans, whatever, created a religious structure and used God and religion politics. Okay, and it's the Romans. I try not to bash any religious perspectives, but it's just the Romans and how they created religion and God to spread fear throughout the world as they were dominating. Because if you look through history, and you have to do your research, they went and dominated every part of the world, tried to as best they could. If you did not follow them, they killed you on the spot. Um, and when they started dominating North America, they did the same thing. They did, they killed people and they did horrible things to all these people here, right? And nobody discovered anything because the whole world was already populated with people already. So this whole imaginary story that North America has created for itself is just false. It's a proven fact that if you what am I trying to say here? If you spread fear into people, they're gonna follow you, basically. And that's how the old world used to run, is by spreading fear. Oh, I got the bigger guns, so you're gonna have to listen to me, blah 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 blah. Right? So it spread fear throughout. If there's a whole army, like I said, if there's gangs, you're gonna have to make your own army and fight. That's what needs to be changed. You need to make it where um, you're not going to stand for those fear factors anymore. Because the Romans war, the Nazis war, the Germany war, they won. they took control over the majority of North America and, you know, spread their way through the Middle East and everywhere. They spread their way through and conquered it. And they create all these illusions, you know, and you have to do your research. You know, people talk about this stuff all the time and they just throw it under the rug and say, oh, whatever. That's not real because they choose to listen to what they hear. That's how their mindset is. You know, it's just it's ridiculous. You know, and it's frustrating at times on my part because people refuse to do research on these things. You know, you do research on the Masons. You know, Masonic rule has been around since George Washington. He was the biggest, you know, they're one of the starts of Masonic rule. And where George Washington come? From the Romans. And people refuse to look that history up too. They don't see the pattern that flows through. And, you know, if you see that pattern, you're going to discover why the world is the way it is right now. And when you have as much power as the Romans had, yeah, you can create and change history because you're that powerful. You can get rid of history and create different histories. Um, and because of so many people falling for you know, because people back then, George Washington, blah 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 blah, people were so poor and they had no internet or anything, so they had to follow the rules um, strict. There was no changing, there was no anything because, you know, there was so much fear during that time. And as the world grew on, right after the Nazi war, well, what was it, World War II, whatever, you know, whatever the last big war was, um, things started to change. Something triggered the world to change, you know, and this is where you look up into the little spike that we had, and that spike was with Roswell and extraterrestrials. Like I said, you know, gotta do your research. That was a big landing point when things started to change and evolve. As soon as that happened, we got technology, and technology was the destruction and fall of um, the Masonic, the Mason ruling, and the big old mafia family. That was the downfall, you know, because they're like, oh yeah, we need to use this technology, which is why um, they had to hide where the technology came from. Because if you discovered where this technology came from, um, it would have changed everything. And it would also spread fear. And that's something that I might talk about in the next video. But basically, you know, you have to look at it that there is a dominant force that has made the world the way it is today. And people are discovering the lies and deceits from this family bloodline, you know. And, you know, if you watch political views, which hopefully you're not, but if you do, you will see that they are not listening to people anymore, and they're just saying, hey, we're going to do what we want to do. You know, their agenda is being more and more and more and more open, but their family is crumbling, so therefore they're losing their dominance of what they created thousands of years ago. And you know, this is where you have to stand up and take responsibility for your life and take responsibility to help other people's lives. You know, allow everyone to look at life differently and give them an opportunity to look at life differently, because North America is so manipulated by TV and high school drama. Like literally, high school drama continues on in the majority of adulthood for North Americans. They still live in a high school life. They create dramas for themselves, and they have to constantly talk about others, talk about different belief structures, religion structures. They constantly are bashing each other and putting themselves in different groups. Instead of looking at things as a whole and saying, hey, if we do this, maybe this will make this group over here come together. There's always ways to compromise things, create a unity within each other. We're not here to divide. Just like religion, they send people to door to door to door to door to door, trying to say, hey, if you do this and this and this and this and this, and then they spread the fear of, okay, you're going to go to hell if you don't believe in this. It's the same pattern that the Romans used when they were killing people. Boom, 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 boom. It's the same factor. It's the same fear factor. There is, it's false evidence appearing real. The only fear that is generated is by you. You have to stand up on your own feet, and you have to be that revolution and that change. And when you do that, just like my voice is being spoken here, it creates fear within that family, within that organization that did that dominating effect. The more we spread our word out there, the more they crumble. But the thing is it's not to take action of war and war, riots, standing in the streets for days and days with signs. No, that's what they want you to do. The thing that they fear the most is each one of us speaking our views, realizing the programs that are being run on this planet, and sending an echo through the consciousness stream. That's what they fear. Because as soon as we send echoes through the consciousness stream and we start hitting lights, meaning as we talk to more and more and more and more people, giving people new ideas, it's going to spread like a telephone. It's going to spread like a virus. And the more and more and more and more and more we become aware of things, and we start realizing and seeing everything for what it is, political views, their fake wars, leaders, leaders overseas who are on the same payroll as American leaders here. They all work together, and when people begin to see this and become realizing and breaking out of all this drama of fear, that's when they will crumble entirely. And the spiritual side of things, not religion, but the spiritual side of things, is where the big change will take place. And that is learning and discovering your spiritual side, your spiritual essence, and the power that holds within you. Okay, because this is a physical reality, but there is a whole life that is happening within you that creates this structural world. This is why they choose religion and make you follow religion instead of your spiritual essence. A spiritual teaching, true spiritual teaching, has been lost on this planet. And it has been transformed into religion. And in the North American Bibles, they have little talks about Jesus and his secret teachings. And they never tell you what his secret teachings are, because his secret teachings were spiritual teachings. Not just, praying and believing in God. No. it is working your spiritual body, your spiritual essence. Um, that is your driving force. That is your true being and your true potential. And, this is the number one thing that people don't understand because they can't see it. You have to feel what spiritual energy is. And the only way that I can, you know, explain how that feels is, when I used to go to church, you lift your hands up, and you would feel that wave effect, kind of like, like if you get like, goosebumps, or you just get super excited, you just, you just feel so full of joy, and it just makes you feel awesome. Now, wouldn't it be awesome to have that 24/7 all the time? And you can do that. That is what your spiritual essence is. It lives within you, and you have to learn on how to tap into it, because that is what's going to change this world. That is what the Masons use. Their dominating factor is also used in the spiritual or the fourth dimensional world, and that's some pretty deep stuff. But I just want to add that in there to make you um, become aware, that look beyond all the drama, look beyond all the fear, look beyond all the programs of religion and politics and the mafias and the fake wars and so on and so forth. Look past that, and take action for yourself and be a leader for yourself, because the world needs leaders now. If you're in a town, you can be a leader in your town. Is it easy? No, it's not. Um, even myself, I realize, I can't do this by myself. But the more and more and more and more that I talk to people about my views and visions and my discoveries, like I said, it's going to spread like a virus. And eventually, people will catch on. And it's our children that are going to take our ideas and bring them into action. Like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. And you're going to see this effect. And if you feel it in your heart as I'm speaking this, it's going to click within you. If you're not focused so much on programs and everything, this is going to click in you. This is going to make your ears ring and make you realize that you can be that change. You can be that inspiration. You need to be an inspiration to our children who are going to create and revolutionize this world. Because our children is the landmark. As soon as our children grow up into adults, that's when the world's going to start changing. And trust me, it's going to be awesome beyond words. But yeah. But anyways, focus on the now, though. Okay, focus on the now. Because things are going to be changing drastically. You're going to be tested, and you're going to be challenged a lot through this, because we're in through a transitional stage, and you have to be strong during this time, because your will, your intent, your heart is what this world is going to need to be a success. And the more that we spread our word out, and the more that you become aware of the wrongdoings or negative nature of the world, that's where you need to begin to stand up and be a voice that needs to be heard. And with enough confidence and strength and love for yourself, no one can stop you. That's where you have to stand in your power and be a leader, because no one can stop a leader. Universally, no one can stop you. The only thing that can stop you is fear, false evidence appearing real. Um, and really take my words seriously on that, because a lot of people fall into this fear factory. And the videos I'm going to be making after this one is going to help you become more and more aware of this false evidence appearing real, in many of these transitional stages that are taking place. So anyways, this video is really long. Hopefully you stuck with me through it all. But yeah, you need to be that change. You need to take responsibility for yourself and look past dramas and high school dramas. That's pretty much all I can say. High school drama even goes in the whole new age movement as well. So you have to look past that. You have to look at yourself as a parent, and as a parent, you are taking responsibility for children. Children are looking up to you, and you need to be that positive influence to those children. I don't care if that children is 50 years old. They're still children. We're all children. But you need to be an adult to these children. Somebody has to step up. If it's a 15-year-old talking like I am, they're an adult, and they're talking to you like you're a child. So you need to take steps and realize what's going on, because we have leaders that are younger than I am, that are ready to make these changes. So you have to become fully aware of this, and take this thing seriously step by step. But share your love and like I said, be an inspiration to children as well. All right. So anyways, I'll put that one on. So yeah, be that change, be an inspiration to others, and like I said, be like a parent talking to children. Take every word that you spread. Realize what you're spreading throughout the world. Throughout whoever you're talking to. Always think before you act. Definitely. So, anyways, love you all very much. If you have questions, let me know. And yeah, so talk to you in a little bit.